Death Star. That thing's operational.
Dr. Banner. Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry.
The settings, didn't you?
Yep. Here we are. Can you hear us now? Bueller.
Would you like me to test it?
Yeah, could you?
Yep, I can hear it.
Well, the problem is that I unplugged everything to redo my batteries, and here we are. But anyway, we're just sitting here enjoying our usual frosty beverages. What you drinking, Brosif?
Today, thank you to John Skeen, I am drinking our Race Day Lager from the Daredevil Brewing Company.
Yeah, it's a good one. If you like lagers. I'm not the biggest lager fan, but you like them.
No, yeah, I mean, they're a good, I mean, they're the American basis beer. I mean, Coors and Bud and Miller, those are all lagers.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a good basic beer. And
Heineken as well.
Not bad, but and it's a 5.2% lager at that.
Yeah. Well, at least it's got a little kick. I'm not the biggest fan of most lagers because it's like, especially if you're talking Budweiser or something, it's like 3%. What's the point?
Anyway. You're 3%.
Indeed, I am. Technically. Well, weird. All right, so I am drinking from Bear Republic Brewing Company, about 2 hours south of us in Healdsburg, and it's the Apex Special IPA. This is from the same people that do Racer 5 and some of the other IPAs that I love.
Right, yeah, of course.
And Racer X and half the other beers that I've featured on the show.
And
Speed Racer is an anime show.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, before we get started, if you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Pops on Twitter. Will is at I'm Will Griggs. And we're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. So when you see us on those things, share us. Tell your friends. Share us and like us and stuff. Positive ratings are better, too. We've been stuck at, I don't want to say the number, but we've been stuck at a specific number on iTunes for almost a year.
Wow.
I'd say like the same number for a year. So if you're listening to this and you actually somewhat sort of like what you've heard, just give me 10 seconds of your day. Pop over to old iTunes, and give us. I mean, 5 stars is ideal.
5 is ideal.
But I mean,
and if you're listening to us live, that means you like us.
Well, there's only one of them. It is Labor Day, to be fair. We're recording on Labor Day. It's Monday.
In the middle of the day. It's
in the middle of the day.
Prime barbecue time.
Yeah, we, I took the kids to the old parade today.
You did.
I
went to a roundtable buffet because it's, day off during the week. And
I was going to say, there's probably nobody there.
No, it's actually, there's people watching soccer matches because there's a lot of World Cup qualifying matches today.
The footy?
The footy. Le football.
Football. You're in your sports ball. Okay, so we do have the timestamps in the show notes. If you're not a SWTOR fan, we're going to talk SWTOR for a bit. Then we'll jump to Star Wars and jump to pop culture like we always do. So if you're in the chat room, if there's any audio issues or anything like that, please let us know. But we're going to get right to it. And thanks for everybody who is in the chat room. And if you say things, we'll say things back. That's how it works.
We will.
I mean, that's quite literally how it works.
Literally.
Moving on.
You want to fight?
One job.
You want to fight? I'm ready.
You do not have to stand against me. Instead, I will share all of this with you if you will only kneel.
Your inappropriate stuff aside, this beer is freaking good.
All right, give me a taste.
It's delicious. You'll love it. Anyway, let's start off. I have a lot of community things I want to talk about this week. Okay, Will's not happy about the beer, but that's fine. At the top of the show, if you're looking at the live stream, we have a graphic up on the right-hand side of your screen, and that is, obviously, we are in the wake of... Bad choice of words. Damn it.
Aftermath,
thank you, of the Houston basically Hurricane Harvey. And it devastated Houston, and a lot of flooding and families losing their homes. And
yeah, last I heard it's like $13.5 billion in damage.
Yeah,
it's more destructive than Katrina, more destructive than Sandy.
Yeah.
All the ones from the, I want to say 60s and 80s in Florida.
Right.
They had 50 inches of rain.
Yeah, that's
over a weekend. That's insane.
And obviously you can go on the internet and see, countless videos of the devastation and that kind of thing.
30% of Harris County is still underwater.
Wow. So obviously, my poor choice of words aside, as SWTOR community members, we last Wednesday tried to get together and do a stream for for Houston. We called it Houston Strong SWTOR Community Relief Effort. And the graphic on the right-hand side of your screen has all of the ways you can text money in. There's even an animal shelter one as well to help the animals in that are having the problems as well. But obviously, this is a massive thing. So that particular day was 5 o'clock in the evening our time. Twitch was down.
Yeah, Twitch, the servers just went down.
Yeah, and it was kind of frustrating because I made all these arrangements because I have my kids during the day. I can never get online and play at 5 o'clock.
No.
And it was one of those things where I made it all happen, and then Twitch was down. So we rescheduled for this coming Wednesday. By the time you hear this, I'll either get this show out Tuesday or Wednesday. And so definitely join us. I'll be streaming Sakari. There's a bunch of people streaming. A lot of the SWTOR influencers is influencer driven. Will be there. Jesse and Max from SWTOR Escape Podcast.
Nice.
And a lot of people are, Brian from Bad Feeling, and a lot of guys are going to be there. Some of them even transferred tunes over to be on the Harbinger to run
That's
with
cool.
us. So, and Mox and JT and all those guys. So definitely check it out. We'll be doing at least one operation is the plan, and we'll kind of see where the night takes us. And yeah, man, it's got to be really cool, but at the same time, this is just one of the ways that you can help. And if you can help, definitely do that. So.
Yeah, and I can't see your graphic clear enough to see what charities you have up on there, but if it's not up there, I highly recommend also going to HoustonFoodBank.org.
Okay.
Because, natural disasters tend to disproportionately affect poor people.
Right.
And those are people that already have a relationship with the food banks, and they're really going to be in need. So please help them out.
I have Salvation Army, Red Cross, Humane Society, and Global Giving up there on the graphic. But yeah, definitely do that. Cool. So all that aside, some other community people doing awesome things is the Council. I finally listened to the Council.
How was it?
They have 4 episodes out. I love it. It's Redna, Magic Ace, Sakari, and our friend Elise. And it's talk show format. I haven't watched them live, like on Twitch, but I listened to the podcast format, and I love it. It's 4 people that talk very matter-of-factly about SWTOR things, and it's really good. They
don't hide the BS.
No, they don't, and I really enjoy that about the show. And I think it was their last episode or the one before, either episode 3 or 4. They put up an influencer straw poll about what people thought about the influencer program, and definitely worth a listen. It's skewed differently than you think.
Really?
But the straw poll is actually you can see it if you pop this open. I'll show you right now. So it's, how do you feel about the influencer program? I think it's being abused is 21%. I love BioWare partnering with the community in this way is 20%. I don't know or care what it is 19%, and then it kind of goes down from there. So those are the top 3. So they had a really interesting conversation about it, so definitely check it out.
Definitely.
Krillin Run Radio, our friends Mox and JT, actually got to interview Eric Musco in their latest episode.
Awesome.
And definitely check that out. I listened to that earlier today. It's a great interview. Musco's really good on the mic. Obviously, he comes from a podcasting background, but at the same time, it's nice to be able to hear his very matter-of-fact way of not saying things sometimes. And he's really good at it, but at the same time, he's like, look, one of the things I thought was cool is, I don't know if you are like me, but you do a lot of heroics to get CXP, and we'll talk more about that later. But he had literally said, email Carillion Run Radio to pass along an email to them about the heroics you want the spawn timers and stuff like that changed on. So, like, there are some issues with some heroics. There's a couple that are really short to do, but you have to wait 5 minutes for the guy to spawn. And that's kind of broken. So
yeah, okay, honestly,
stuff like that. It was
okay.
Nice.
I'm not usually a pouncer, but
pouncer.
You know, somebody that there's
pouncer.
There's people waiting for a boss to respawn.
Yeah,
but
I see what you're saying.
But it's not like they're lined up in a queue. So when you get there, the first thing I do when I get there is I invite people to a group, because if they have room in their group, then right. But if not, you know, it's not my fault that people don't use their tools.
Agreed.
Right? So what I do is, like, I'm a sniper, so I use my AoE of
orbital strike.
No. Like suppressing fire.
Oh, basically. Yeah, something like that.
Because that one has 0 respawn time.
Okay. So you just spawn. You can spam.
Yeah, so I just click it over and over again, and, you know, half the time I'm the first one to hit them. Right. So of course I get I pull the threat.
I'm sure people love that about you.
Yeah, it's not Drummond cost, first of all. So come on.
Yeah, no, I got you.
But it's that one where you go into the temple and
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's not my. I mean, I see other snipers in there. I'm like, why aren't you guys doing this?
Well, and I came against that problem, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the specific heroics that we're talking about, but or daily areas, I guess I should say. But there was somebody doing spamming orbital strike. For the same reason, because it's something that is constantly raining down, so you're going to get the thing off the bat. So, you know, there's a lot of ways to do it, or just join a group and everybody be done.
Well, that's why I said the first thing I do is I go in there, and if there's like 5 people in there, I hit them all, and I'm like, hey, but, you know, if there's 5 people in there, that means they're obviously not all in one group.
No.
Yeah. And if you get turned down, it's your own fault.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, like, come on, I purposely tried to invite you to a group first so you could get it with me, but nope.
Well, yeah.
So that's the only thing I do, but...
No, but and that's why I like the conversation they had, because if heroics are going to be a way to get CXP, there are specifically some that take literally a minute, like 90 seconds probably.
That one takes such a short amount
of
time.
If the boss is up,
right,
and there's no one else there. So, but anyway, man, speaking of, did you do anything in game this week?
I honestly have not. I've been doing a lot of work in my RV, so I haven't even had a chance to download the latest patch, the 5.4. But I'm going to try to download that tonight, and I want to try to play some in the next couple days.
Yeah, no, it's and I'll talk more about some of the bugs and stuff here in a minute, but mostly what I've been doing in game this week, well, actually encompassing last week, because we didn't record on Wednesday because of the Twitch down.
Right.
The Twitch down. So we did Temple of Sacrifice, which was the first time for What's an Ops group, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, that's the one on Yavin, right?
Yeah, it was great. One of the things I wanted to put out there, and I'm going to stop referring to What's an Ops group as the acronym going forward, because it's something I've been, to use your word, tangentially aware of, is that obviously the acronym WOG is a derogatory term in like the UK and Australia and stuff like that, and I don't want to rub people the wrong way, so we're just going to call it What's an Ops group and leave it at that. So last week we did Temple of Sacrifice, a lot of fun. We didn't get it done, obviously, but it was hard, but we got through it, first couple bosses, and I think it was a good run. And then we did EV this past Friday, which was actually pretty funny. I don't know if I had too much to drink or what was going on, but
did the elevator boss get
oh my
involved?
God, no, it was the platform bosses. Oh my God, people were falling off. We could not get back. Everybody had done it before countless times, and it was just like, well, healer's dead. Well, I'm dead. And it was just like, we just kept dying. It was so bad. But we finally got through it, and that was the thing. And the other thing we tried to do, obviously I said, was the Houston Strong. Didn't come through, but we'll be doing that this Wednesday. I also have a link in the show notes talking about the Houston raising money. Mox put together some really cool looking t-shirts.
They are very cool.
And that's another way to give money to Houston. So I think that's important.
Absolutely.
So, God, I'm really afraid of this next hurricane. There's another one coming.
Yeah, was it Irma?
Yeah, they're not sure. Is it going to hit? Where's it going to hit yet?
I haven't heard.
Know. Anyway, at the time of this recording, hopefully there's not another fundraiser we have to do, because I don't know, man. I feel like Mother Earth's fighting us back.
A little bit.
All right, so let's get to the news. So obviously people were posting in the forums because BioWare is based out of Austin.
Right. Not really close to Houston, but
No.
I mean, it's there.
But it's in Texas, so people were like, hopefully everybody's safe. And yeah, obviously there are some people being affected, but for the most part, it sounds like the Austin offices and most people that work there weren't as affected as some others, which is good. There was some problems logging in.
I saw this on Twitter.
Yeah, let me open this one up because I don't remember. Oh, yeah. This was on the 29th. A quick note for those of you who are already in game: you might see cartel coins listed as 0, and it's a login issue. Your coins are fine. The balance will show properly once we resolve the issue. So there's that. Also, the bigger. There's a couple bigger ones I'll get to in a minute, but something they didn't put in the patch notes, which is becoming a problem. Well, this one might have been the patch notes, but long and the short of it is they did not raise the stronghold cap, so you can't actually have all 6.
Right. Well, didn't they always have a cap of 1 less than what the number was?
Well, they had it as 4 for a while, and then they went to 5. And this affected conquest negatively because before you had to have 4, and that was 100% if you had them all decked out, right? And then when they put the 5th one, then it went to 125. So now they kept it at 125, but you can't have 6 strongholds. You have to get rid of 1. So it's so basically what he says, the idea of place chairs in every hook for your bonus is not a great experience. We would like to allow you to have the strongholds you want and decorate them the way you want without negative impact on conquest. So right now, those things are integrally tied together. So we may increase the stronghold cap in the future, but first we want to address some of the issues related to conquest. So, and as we talked about last week, there's some issues with conquest anyway. So
right.
Anyway, sorry, I'm a little.
Are there really people that just put chairs on every hook?
Yeah. You just put chairs and everything to get your conquest bonus. That's what everybody does.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I don't either, but I just don't. I mean,
my non-stronghold is the one that's decked out the most, and it's at like 40%.
Yeah. No, I have my Drum and Cost one's pretty decked out. No, and my Nar Shaddaa. My Nar Shaddaa.
Yeah, I remember your Nar Shaddaa one's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty good looking, dude. All right, this is my favorite issue of the week. It's a weird sentence, but this is my favorite issue of the week. So, 5.4. Okay. This is Eric Musco. He says, when we released Game Update 5.4 last week, we also introduced a bug which many of you have already noticed. The daily missions for Zerka, Oricon, Black Hole, Yavin 4, Zyos, and Section X, and Iocath are rewarding substantially more CXP than intended. Instead of giving 75 CXP for mission, they're actually awarding 1,125.
Wow.
That's a lot of CXP. Probably a little more than you would like to get, is what they say, which obviously we all want more, right? For that reason, it was our intent that we would address this bug in tomorrow's patch, which I'll get to in a minute. Well, the gods of Iocath were the only ones strong enough to overcome it. So after tomorrow's patch, the Iocath days will be back to the appropriate CXP, but the other 6 daily areas will still be bugged, which means they're giving you crazy CXP, and it's during double CXP.
Right, so you're really getting 22 or 2350.
Yeah, you're getting like 20, almost 2,400 CXP per mission. It's insane. I'm finally at tier 3, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I'm still
I did
at
like
level
5 missions.
37.
I did like 5 missions. It's great. You'll get them so fast, dude. Like do like 5.
I might play tonight.
5 heroics and you'll be done. Or 5 dailies. So until they're fixed next week, enjoy them. We tried to fix the bug, but it didn't want to be fixed, and I'll get to more of that in a little bit. And that was on the 30th. Today is the 4th.
They're classifying this as a bug and not an exploit.
Yes,
okay,
it's
good.
okay to do it. It's not an exploit. Now, speaking of the fun of the patch, so Game Update 5.4A.
Yes.
Well, they launched it, and then they had to bring the servers back down again.
Oh, jeez. It
was a mess. It was down for like 8 hours.
Holy crap.
And so, let me get to exactly. So, what they were going to fix was the Iocath dailies, the Umbara Stronghold exploit, which we didn't talk about, which was what people were doing. And this is so shady. Because of the way they're doing the Umbara. Basically, you have to do the flashpoint enough times to get enough tokens, right?
Right.
And it unlocks a separate room where you have access to these vendors, right? What people were doing was getting access to the vendors and then doing a guild summons.
Oh.
And getting people in there. And so that was an exploit. and basically they're saying not to do it. And even in the latest patch issue, which I'll get to in a second, I don't think they fixed it, so don't do it. That aside, they were trying to fix some other little bugs and stuff, but one thing led to another, and everything broke. And they took the servers down for a long time. So what I wanted to clarification on what happened. Let me open this up here. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. Here we go. So what happened? Why wasn't this tested? So the long and the short of it is there are a lot of issues. Something slipped through. Although they do test stuff, some things can't be avoided once it goes live, that kind of thing. So there wasn't supposed to be a rollback. I still don't know if there was a rollback, but obviously people were super pissed that they lost their game time today and blah, blah, blah. And oh my God, everybody's so salty. Okay, this happens. It's software. You know,
it's not perfect.
And it's just like, for me, like, I mean, I wasn't affected because I was at work, but I get that if that's your usual gaming time and you're upset, it's like us trying to stream the Houston Strong event, and Twitch is down. What are we gonna do?
There's nothing you can
do. There's nothing we can do. None of us are salty about it. We reschedule it and deal with it. So, and I get, like, I think the biggest issue was that it was the double CXP thing going on.
Yeah, they didn't want to lose that CXP.
And people were upset, and I get it. And one of the things that Eric did is he likes to keep people posted in the forums, and he put some codes in there, you know, for people to grab. And like, everybody was pissed. They were insulted. They put the codes in there, like, you're just giving us these codes instead of giving us the game. And like, they were damned if they do, damned if they didn't. And it was just one of those things. And I was frustrated looking at it, so I just went back to work.
I think people just need to pull the sticks out of their ass.
Well, there's definitely sticks happening. So definitely don't do the Imbara exploit. The servers are up now, and everything's good to go. So get your CXP and live the life.
So when did this 5.48 outage happen?
It was supposed to go. Was it Tuesday? Wait, what day is it?
Today's Monday.
This was. That's a good question, actually. When was this?
I mean, it doesn't affect us now.
It was the 31st. So, yeah.
Okay, so it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or Thursday.
Yeah, it was Thursday. That's right, because they were trying to fix the exploit is what happened.
Right.
And so after the patch finally went live, they tried to get back and do that, and that's what happened. So
okay, cool.
So people were down without their game, but ooh, good. Anyway, so...
I told you this off mic, but I kind of want to mention for those of you who do follow my Wi-Fi woes. Last night I lost my Wi-Fi for a few hours, and so I was like, screw it. I just created a hotspot with my iPhone because I've got unlimited data on my phone right now.
Nice.
And it was twice as fast as my normal Wi-Fi, and that's going through a cell signal. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I don't always have. I usually don't have my Wi-Fi on my phone, mostly because of work, because it blocks a lot of stuff, but. It's pretty fast here, honestly.
Yeah, I do. I keep it on at work too, specifically because that's where I download all my app updates and all my podcasts and stuff because they're all over 100 meg.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Cool, man. So my suggestion before the CXP runs out, which I think the next patch, I think they're going to do downtime on Wednesday. So we have a couple days.
Cool. I plan on doing it tonight.
Yeah. I'm going to probably edit this show tonight and do that while that's happening. So here we go. All right, man. Shall we get to Star Wars The Old Republic? Just kidding. Star Wars in general?
Yes.
Let's do it.
I was raised to do one thing. But I've got nothing to fight for.
Nothing will stand in our way. I will finish what you started.
You see, and I added a bunch of stuff, huh?
I did.
Mostly it's merchandise stuff that we won't talk too much about. But I have a couple discussion topics this week. And more Star Wars than I kind of thought, actually. So let's just talk about...
There's lots of little things.
Yeah, so new Last Jedi images features Kylo Ren and Snoke. You saw this one?
I did not. I've purposely kind of like not... I haven't wanted to look at the images.
Right.
Because like there's this whole hullabaloo about Skywalker wearing black. And
right.
like, I honestly don't really want to look at people's outfits because I don't want to get like fed information.
Right, but this image is kind of cool. You got Snoke in the background, you got 2 of the Praetorian guards, and then you have Kylo Ren with the helmet off.
All right, that's pretty cool. It's looking very King Arthur-ish.
Yeah, it's pretty darn cool. So I like that. And then Rebels actor Vanessa Marshall on possible live action appearance. Now, this I thought was interesting.
She does the voice of Ahsoka Tano.
No,
that's
what's her face. She does the voice. Vanessa Marshall does the voice for
Hera.
Hera. And so because of that moment in Rogue One,
where you see the ghost,
there's like some inkling of that happening. So she says, "Fantastic! I almost started crying. I had to remember I was in a public place and had to contain myself." Marshall said, "I thought I was losing my mind and started asking, did that really just happen? I went to see it 1,000,000 times, and every time I was just blown away. It's good to know that she still exists at that point. So it's a good thing. But also being such a huge fan of Star Wars film, every Star Wars film that's been released, having a character I've played in an animated series be mentioned, it was really rewarding." So she was further asked if...
because she could definitely pop up in Han Solo.
Right. So she says, so when asked if there's a possibility for her to play Hera in a live-action capacity in a Star Wars movie, she, of course, remained positive. She said, of course, who knows? If she can serve the narrative, it would be awesome. It would be great to see her on the film, and it was incredible to see Saw Gerrera come to life. So she talked about that,
right.
And she continues to talk about that in the Clone Wars and stuff. But, yeah, so I was just curious what you think, dude.
I think
the possibility is.
I think it'd be really cool. I think the window is closing.
Hey, Raz.
Because
now you know. Yes, your rotation is known.
That's funny. Because they're doing the Han Solo movie. I mean, how many more movies are they going to do in that little time frame? And that's really the only thing where they could do anything to do with Rebels.
So you think it'd be interesting to see her show up in Han Solo? I don't think it's going to happen.
No, because they would have. I mean, they just cast somebody new last week, but it's I mean, minor characters.
Right.
It's really too late. Plus, somebody with her, it's much more intricate with makeup.
Right.
Because you're dealing with a Twi'lek, so it's much different.
True, but I like this, and it was really cool to hear that happening in the film and be like, you know what, it's. Well, with Kevin Smith say that's a deep cut. It's almost like something obscure. Like if you watched Rebels, you would get it.
Yes.
If you didn't, you wouldn't. You know what I mean? And I think that's important to bring something that is so popular in canon, but also
unknown at the same time.
Unknown, yeah, exactly. All right, man. So I'm gonna skip this one.
Okay.
Because I didn't really like that one very much. But I thought this was really interesting. Mark Hamill was interviewed recently, and I'm not sure where this was from. I was just reading the quotes. Let's see. After 30 years, blah, blah, let me find it. Interview with ABC News. He says, after 30 years, Hamill's hesitant to return to the role of Luke Skywalker, someone who has become a legend, both canon and the fans of the saga. And a thing that felt maybe wrong about coming back was the fact that the original trilogy had a beginning, middle, and end. This is Hamill saying to ABC News. But there's two ways of looking at that. On one hand, it had closure. And then he goes on to say, but if you look at it another way, it's the story of how Luke went from becoming a farm boy to a Jedi, and then the story ends, Hamill said. It would be like telling a story of how James Bond got his license to kill and becoming 007, and the story ends.
Yeah.
Which I like that comparison
a lot. Very good.
And Hamill's good at this kind of stuff.
Yes, well, plus you also have to remember it is ABC News, so it's owned by Disney.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to say it's a fluff piece, but
it is.
Coming into it, he knew what the questions were going to be.
Right. And
so it's not like you're caught off guard.
And he also was asked about coming back to the films. He says, when they asked me to come back, it was scary. I thought, it was hard to catch lightning in a ball the first time. I don't know if it's such a wise idea, which I like that little soundbite too. But then he says, when we left, even if we were going to do a third trilogy, it wouldn't have anything to do with us. George never said, you're going to do 3 more. He did mention maybe coming back and doing a cameo and handing Excalibur to the next Young Hope, which I like that quote too.
Yeah.
And this is back when we were doing the first one, and I thought, what is this supposed to be? And he also goes on to say, Luke changed, I think, more than the other characters in the original trilogy, from callow farm boy to Jedi in training to finally a Jedi Master. And what you're talking about is what really fascinated me. and that's between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. So I don't know. Fluff piece, yes, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting because I have another follow-up to this.
Well, it's definitely a fluff piece, but the really interesting thing is like he's really starting to talk about the motivations of the character and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's for all the stuff that we've gotten back into Star Wars over the last couple of years, we have no concept of Luke yet because he's only had like 30 seconds of screen time.
Right.
We won't know the repercussions of all the decisions outside of his universe until we get to him.
Yeah, and one of the things I didn't put in here, there was some another little fluff piece about how he felt about being snubbed, quote unquote, in Episode 7, which because he kind of did. He had no lines. He was talked about and only seen in the last minute and a half. I
think he's still standing on that mountain waiting for for
right?
to hand him the lightsaber.
And Raz, you're right. If they did a live action Hera, they probably have to do dub her over. Maybe it depends on how they did the
makeup.
The makeup, but if they left her mouth alone a little bit, maybe. But it'd be tough to do it to her, like I think, because Homeboy for Return of the Jedi.
Bib Fortuna,
yeah. He his mouth was all weird, but he was also speaking Huttese too. So
yeah, he was speaking Huttese. Plus, it was 1983.
Well, I mean, throw the year at me.
Bite it.
All right, man. So let's see what else we got. Let's get to the Last Jedi stuff because I do have another Mark Hamill thing here in just a second that has to do with Carrie Fisher. But as usual, you have a chance to win and. Could you imagine? I couldn't imagine this, but you can win a chance. Well, enter to win a chance to do the world premiere of The Last Jedi.
And I'm guessing this is through Omaze again.
This isn't Omaze, actually. This is something else.
But the funny thing is they had a drawing for a walk-on role for Force Awakens.
I thought it'd be Omaze too, but this is actually through StarWars.com, and it has to do with Force Friday 2. Which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But yeah, I don't see it have to do with Omaze. This is actually just a straight up deal.
Oh, so it's just a straight sweepstakes instead of a donation sweepstakes.
Yeah, so do it. You don't have to pay money. Just enter to win.
Enter to win.
Yeah. So next one, dude.
Yeah, so I don't know. Well, I mean, it's now past it because it ran from the 1st to the 3rd because I put this on first talking about it on Thursday.
Right.
But it was the Find the Force app was something new they came up with for Force Friday 2, where it was an AR experience where on the Star Wars app, you opened up the Find the Force AR section, and you would go into stores or you go online and you would scan images.
Oh, really?
And they would come to life. And if you scanned all 15 of them or whatever, you would earn something.
Wow. Okay.
So it's
and that has to do with Force Friday.
Yeah, it was
nice.
Force Friday. It ran from the 1st to the 3rd, so it ended yesterday. They might have extended it. I don't know. But it's on your Star Wars app. So if you're listening to this show, you probably already have the Star Wars app.
Right.
Just open it up, and it's right there on front.
Yeah, go check it out. And we'll talk more about, Force Friday when we get to merchandise here in a sec. So, almost died.
Oh, and the reason why I put this under The Last Jedi is because all the images were new images for The Last Jedi.
Oh, nice.
So you would unlock images of new characters and stuff like that.
Very cool. So going back to Mark Hamill really quickly, this is he was asked about going back to Star Wars. Basically going back to Star Wars without
Carrie Fisher.
And I guess I shouldn't have had this under Last Jedi, but anyway, long and short of it, it said it is different. She was irreplaceable. There can never be a proper reunion anymore. It's tragic. And he's talking to the Vancouver Sun. And he said, I hate that it adds an air of melancholy to the film because it doesn't deserve it. I know for a fact she would obviously want us to be having fun. And she was all about laughter and enjoying the moment. So that kind of got me a little bit. What do you think? I mean, I understand what he means, but what do you think about, before I get to this next line, about him saying a proper reunion?
Well, it's kind of like, for those of us who have been fans of the EU, now Legends, for the longest time, it's kind of like the first stuff that started coming out after Chewbacca died.
Right.
Because, no matter what book you read, things would get mentioned, and, there's Star Wars tropes, as we're going to hear. There's things you expect to see. And now, we just know that Leia will not show up on camera.
Right, and that's the hard part too, and any conventions or anything else, It's not like you can bring out the big three anymore. Obviously, you've already killed Han Solo.
Right.
And then now Luke's the only one left, really. Besides Lando and other, you know what I mean?
Right.
But
I mean, and you don't get me wrong, this isn't the first, main actor we've lost, because we lost Peter Cushing.
right.
Who played Tarkin, but they were smaller side roles.
Right.
This is the first of the big three to actually die.
Exactly. And yeah, Raz, I have something in the notes for that. Don't worry. We're going to get there. And so one of the things he says, I think the send-off is really cool. This is the Hollywood Reporter, and he says he was asked about how Carrie Fisher's sending off of Carrie Fisher was handled. He said, this is Boyega talking, actually. He says, I think the send-off is really cool. Even before she passed away, I'd seen her in scenes and been like, this is really cool for both Carrie and Mark, who are the last two original leads, which is what we were just talking about.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to be an absolute mess.
Oh, you're going to be a wreck.
When I watch episode 8, I'm going to be a mess. And so he says, writer-director Rian Johnson explained to Good Morning America earlier this year that the film emotionally gives some kind of catharsis, gives some kind of emotional satisfaction. I think so. I know for me it does. Dude, I think most of us are going to be crying the whole time.
It's funny. I already mentioned Forgetting Sarah Marshall earlier, and there's this other scene where he gets woken up in his hotel room and he's got tissues all around him, and the big Hawaiian dude says, are those happy tissues or sad tissues? And for episode 8, I think I might have to bring a whole pack for you because you're going to have both happy and sad.
I'm going to be a mess. Oh, it's going to be so bad. I'm already thinking about it. Okay, I got to stop. I might skip this one too. Well, this one I thought was interesting because this was essentially Rian Johnson saying, talking about The Last Jedi. And he says, it's not going to include this one particular Star Wars trope. And do you remember what it has to do with?
Actually, I haven't read this article, but what it's reminding me of is like this whole next generation of Star Wars auteurs are really trying to make it their own, because you got to remember with Gareth Edwards when he was doing Rogue One, he didn't include the crawl.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a standard Star Wars trope. So
this article was not what I thought it was going to be about, because I think the picture was misleading.
Okay.
Because the picture had I thought they were going to talk about revealing Rey's parents, because it had Vader talking to Luke and you know this thing. So this says Rian Johnson, who's directing the film, recently took to Twitter to reveal The Last Jedi will only have a dozen wipe transitions.
That is a very basic Star Wars trope.
Technique that has been used in virtually every Star Wars film aside from last year's Rogue One. And so the tweets are funny. It says the most wipe transitions in a Star Wars movie was episode 1 with 55. Okay. To my eternal shame, The Last Jedi is bringing up the rear with a measly 12.
to kind of interject here is I made a student film that had absolutely nothing to do with Star Wars.
Right.
But it was an homage. So the intro, I actually did the crawl with the Fox fanfare, and I put wipes in there purposely, and they were match cut wipes too. So
nice. Very
much like what you see in because you'll see a wipe going from bottom to the top as a door sliding up or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, for me, it was a doctor coming into a room, and as the door opened, it was a wipe of him coming in, and it's pretty funny.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, Raz, that's awesome. You got to meet Carrie Fisher. That's amazing.
Jealous.
I wish I had been able to do that. Oh, man. Something, again, one of those things you'll never be able to do. But, so there was a poll, I guess Rian Johnson put up. He said, just off the top of your head, which movie would you guess had the most wipe transitions? And 44% thought it was Empire Strikes Back. And Empire Strikes Back had the most of the 3 films listed with 42. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's wipes everywhere.
Yeah.
Lucas loves wipes.
He likes to wipe. Interesting. So this, I almost didn't put this in here, but holy crap, dude.
I haven't looked at it yet, so open it up. What we're talking about is we've got the first look of what Snoke's Star Destroyer looks like.
And I honestly think this is a picture. This picture, I think, is this Galaxy of Heroes or this from the website? Oh, I bet this is from StarWars.com. I thought this might be from Galaxy of Heroes, but the interface is wrong. Okay. The ship is called the Supremacy.
And it's diamond shaped.
It's shaped like, almost like a bomber, like a stealth bomber. The massive ship is 60 kilometers in length. That's
Does it give comparison to what
that's
Vader's
37 miles.
Yeah, well, Vader's ship was what, the Vindicator?
I think was it Vindicator? I know it started with a V. We should know that.
I'll look it up
I'll
really
cut
quick.
that out. Yep.
But what
I'm
is
not going to cut that out. Who am I kidding? Oh, Raz says it was 20 kilometers.
the Vindicator is 20 kilometers?
Was it the Vindicator? I think it was the Vindicator.
Okay, so anyways, that's massive.
Oh no. Oh no, it was an Executor class, I think, is what it was called. But I think the ship's name was Vindicator.
No, it was the Executor.
Oh, it was an Executor. Oh, Raz is the winner.
Oh, yeah, it was called the Executor, but it was also an Executor class Star Dreadnought.
Well, I think that's stupid. That's redundant.
And it was 1,900 meters, so 109. No, that's not right.
He says 20 kilometers. Anyway.
19 kilometers.
Yeah, this ship is ridiculous. So Snoke, could you imagine?
That's huge.
It's so crazy. I love it. I can't wait to see it in action. I just want to see other ships next to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, right? Because you see those memes that that shows it. Oh, it's okay. I'm looking at the Wikipedia now.
Yeah, Wikipedia. Yeah.
The Supremacy. It's a mega class Star Destroyer.
Jesus.
60 kilometers long.
And that's bigger than a Super Star Destroyer, which is what Vader's was.
No, that was an Executor class.
But didn't they call it Super Star Destroyer?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. And so,
I don't even know how you. I mean, without teleportation, how would you even get from one side to another? That's what I'm talking about.
It's got to have high-speed tube.
Jetson style tubes.
Yeah. But also one of the crew members is BB-9E.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen BB-9E
I
yet?
heard about that. Yeah, that's cool. All right, guys. So let's move on. Darth Vader is rumored to appear in The Last Jedi as well, but not, I don't think, in person. I think the story is kind of annoying in that it makes it sound like he's going to show up, but he's going to be talked about a lot.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have to.
But I think it's interesting, and I don't think we have to actually see him, but I think it's interesting because of the relationship that Kylo Ren has with his grandfather. I think not only mentioning him, but solidifying that storyline is important.
Exactly. Because especially since they're going to be going back in time a little bit, talk about the Knights of Ren and how he fought Luke and stuff, they're going to have to talk about how he became fascinated with Vader.
Right. Or, I mean, do you think, and this is what I find really actually interesting, and I just thought about this right now, do you think he was raised knowing who his father or who his grandfather was? Like,
Yeah,
do you think Leia and Han just said, "Yeah, by the way, your grandfather was this terrible person, and he killed lots of people. Well, he was redeemed at the end, but it's
well,
all
they
good."
probably said that he was Anakin Skywalker,
Right.
and not everybody knew that Anakin was Vader, even at the end of Jedi.
Right.
So maybe he just found out that Anakin was Vader, and he had been drawn to the dark side. Or as far as we know, maybe Snoke is coming to him in visions, or maybe Vader's coming to him in visions.
Well, there's this idea too that I've been hearing about is that Snoke was kind of there from the beginning, manipulating him.
Okay.
As he was a kid. Think about this, Ben Solo is born to Leia and Han. Two of the more obviously, Leia is a Skywalker,
Right.
and you have that dynamic. So obviously, any massive Force user would be privy to that and be like, okay, how can I manipulate that? Very much in the way Palpatine did with Vader.
Yes.
So I mean, I just think it's a weird conversation to have. Like, if you're Leia and like, oh, by the way, your grandfather, although he was Vader, he was also Anakin, and try to explain that. I just think that's a weird.
Well, I don't think
it's almost one of those things you try to not say to your kids.
Well, I know I don't think you say, well, your grandfather was Vader, but he was also, you say your grandfather was Anakin,
right?
And as they grow up, you can say, well, he also was a bad guy.
But then you're doing the same thing that Kenobi, Obi-Wan did with Luke, and just you're telling him a version of the story, and I think that's BS, dude.
Well, I agree, But you also have to remember,
I get so mad about this.
Now
stuff.
they have Force Ghosts.
Right.
Who's to say that Anakin doesn't come in and explain himself?
God, that's weird. But I like it. All right. That's a good segue to move on. So Donald Glover has wrapped his time on the Han Solo script.
Yeah,
Han Solo film.
I don't think this particularly says anything about the Han Solo filming time frame. I think it just says more about who Donald Glover is because
right.
They had to wrap him by the end of summer because he's going to go into production on Atlanta. So
Indeed.
They had to have gotten him done by the end of August.
Well, and that means hopefully the reshoots and the retooling of the film are wrapping up.
Right, yeah.
Or, I mean, obviously that his part's done, but you know what I'm saying. Do we want to do the trailer?
It's up to you. I'm cool with it. I mean, the show's coming back in, 2 weeks?
All right, so we have Star Wars Rebels is coming back.
Yeah, and this is the final trailer.
Final season.
This is the trailer for the final season. And I'm really curious of where they're going to wrap up the end of the season. And are people going to die a la Rogue One? Or,
right.
I mean, since Hera is still alive, at least Hera is still alive in Rogue One, they're going to have to talk about that at some point.
Right. Well, let's check it out. See what happens.
Ezra! What happened?
Lothra, Lothcat, Lothwolf, run. Pick a path, and all is done.
What's the status of the Imperial occupation?
Mandalore's under complete lockdown. War's raging.
It's time for you to prove your loyalty, not just to your family, but to all of Mandalore.
If you continue to allow this war to be fought on the Empire's terms, you are going to lose.
We are not ready for open war.
What about Lothal? We promised my people support.
You can run Mon Mothma's errands, or do something that might actually matter.
Your TIE Defender is at risk. Krennic has been quite persuasive about his own project. Stardust.
What about the blockade and Admiral Thrawn?
Are you confident your ship can get in and out undetected?
We don't call it the Ghost for nothing.
Got him!
Capture Captain Singular.
It will be done.
Oh no.
Ezra, it's not whether or not we fight.
It's how we choose to fight that matters. I know, Kanan. Maybe we're choosing the wrong way.
When are you going to feel you've done enough for this rebellion?
Guess I never really thought about it.
So I guess you really never thought about us.
Don't move!
Oh, I'm moving.
We will not stand down. We will not be broken by fear. We are strong, united by our courage. Now is our time.
I wish I could see you.
You could always see me.
All the paths are coming together, right?
I'm just not sure if we're going to like where they lead.
Wow. Okay, there's a lot more there than I thought.
All right, well, they were heavily referencing Rogue One.
Yeah. But also the relationship between Hera and Kanan.
Ezra possibly going...
and that's the beef I think people have, is him maybe going the dark side, but you also have this whole... I don't know, it was kind of... Even though, despite what we talked about earlier, they're kind of alluding to Hera's death. in a couple moments
At
there.
least capture.
Or capture, but also Sabine obviously playing a pivotal role, and you saw the helmet in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
All right,
I'm very excited about this
throwing
season.
this out there.
Okay.
Ezra Snoke.
No, don't start that again. That rumor is not. That's not new, but it. I would love it though. I would actually like. Yeah, I would like that. It would be really, really interesting. But
actually, you know who I would like most, and who's even more conflicted? Kanan as Snoke.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, dude. I don't want to fan the flames of those rumors, but I like the Rogue One tie-ins. I think the season's gonna be great. It sounds like they found a storyline to actually end this thing the right way, because the first 3 seasons were phenomenal.
Oh, the whole thing is great.
Yeah. All right, man. So Force of Destiny.
Yes.
You put this in here.
No, I didn't. Wait, where is it?
Oh, Finn and Han Solo are going to appear in new Force of Destiny episodes, which I think is kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
So, I didn't put this in here, but yes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So, there were like 8 episodes, and they were all like 3 or 4 minutes long, and they were all very heavily focused on the female. It was Leia and Jyn and Rey and all of them. So I think it would be kind of cool to have them focus on the, not necessarily just the scoundrels, but the outsider type of people like Finn,
for sure,
Solo, Lando. Those would all be kind of cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And Raz, you're right. I didn't put that in here, but did you see that Mark Hamill put up that figure, that misprinted figure with his eye kind of messed up?
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Actually, you know what? The one that I've liked the most is I saw a meme that, and I actually haven't read any articles on this, but I saw a meme that had Tarkin as Snoke.
Oh, interesting. I like I said, it'd be really, wouldn't that be cool if all of a sudden Tarkin, not only was he a Force user the whole time, but like didn't actually die and was like even bigger than the Emperor? That'd be badass, dude.
Yeah, and that's why he survived the Death Star.
I would love that. I also really like Tarkin, but so we have a bunch of stuff in here for Force Friday, and I'm just gonna highlight a couple. I have several links. But one of the cool things that we have in here is Hot Toys unveiled their Anakin Skywalker figure from Episode 3. I just had to put this in here because holy crap, how cool does this look? I'll show you. He's got the 2 lightsabers. Yep. He's got Dooku's, and he's like basically poised to take off Dooku's head.
That's cool.
That I just thought that was a sick shot, a sick toy to make. And then this I just thought was just weird. Did you see this? This is a drivable for kids. You know, like when we drew the little yeah. But it's a land speeder, and there's a little video, obviously, and it's basically. I muted it, but it's like little kids can drive a land speeder.
Oh, tell me you're getting that for the girls.
I would love to, but it's probably going to be $7,000.
More expensive than a car.
Right? I just think that's great.
That would be awesome.
And then what else do we have in here? Chewbacca and his Porg buddy have a backpack. And it's it's like one of those like Yoda backpacks, but with Chewbacca with a little Porg on his shoulders.
Please tell me it's a Chewbacca backpack.
Yeah, it is.
That Chewbacca's wearing a Porg backpack.
No, it's not that crazy. But he's got a little Porg. He's got a little Porg on him. It's cute, right?
All right, that's cool.
Yeah. And then we have basically a link in here that is literally all of the Force Friday merchandise. I didn't really see anything in here that I had to have.
Yeah, there really wasn't anything in here that I mean, of course, Phasma came out.
Yeah, but I mean, there's jewelry, which I'll show you one piece of jewelry that I actually really liked. Hats, keychains, purses, wallets. My wife actually has access to some of this stuff through the shop, and she showed me a picture from one of the catalogs with some really cool merchandise that hopefully she'll be getting for our shop. I mean, cufflinks. I mean, there's so much stuff here. There's some, obviously, socks, ties, wallets. So I have the link in the show notes. I can't even go through all this stuff. There's so much here. Yeah, it's a ton
of stuff. So make sure you check it out.
Mugs, Sphero stuff, obviously the BB-8 kind of things. So that's cool. And this, I thought the wife would really get a kick out of. I might actually buy it for her. She doesn't listen to the show, so I'm not worried about it. But look at this. It's a planetary orbital necklace.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And it has all of the... I mean, it's got Tatooine. It's got an X-Wing here in the middle. Hoth, Endor, Coruscant. All kinds of Bespin. I just think this is really cool.
I can't really see it from this angle, but it looks like it's got multiple strands.
Yeah, it does.
Please tell me you've got the core worlds and then the outer rim, and so like Tatooine and Hoth are further away.
Yeah, it looks like they've kind of not done it that way, which is sadly
they should have.
Because Coruscant is up here, and and that's a core world, and Tatooine is outer rim, and it's right here. So I just think it's
it should have had Coruscant, Alderaan, and
right
the core world. Balmorra.
But look how cool that looks on. Yeah. I mean, this is a Think Geek property, so I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, I thought that was neat. And then what Raz was alluding to earlier is the largest Lego set ever sold, and it's a Millennium Falcon Ultimate Collector Series. Okay,
how many pieces?
I don't even know if I can tell you. Over 7,500. That is 1,500 more than the Taj Mahal one. The Taj Mahal.
That's huge.
It's insane. Any guess how much it is?
A few $100s.
Yeah, it'll be available on October 1st for $800.
Holy crap.
$800.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I don't have that much money.
I mean, I'm thinking about just buying it, and they even put in here, could you imagine how much it's going to go for on eBay?
Oh, God.
I could probably flip that thing for 3 times its worth.
Oh, dude. You could.
I'm not going to do that because I don't have that much time.
Raz is talking about the new Sphero stuff, and we were mentioning. Well, I mentioned BB-9E, which is the black BB-8 that's working for the dark side.
Right.
I can't wait to see those two interact.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. Yeah, man, I just don't have the time. I don't know what I would do with it once I built it.
No.
Like 2 weeks. Raz says it would take him 2 weeks to build. Good shit. It would take me way more than that.
Oh yeah, it'd take me years.
Anyway, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say in Star Wars news, except for parks, dude. Holidays. I'm gonna sneeze.
Yeah, during the holidays, Disneyland revamps a whole bunch of the rides, like they do.
Thank you.
Space Mountain, Ghost Galaxy. They do
Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
And do they do Pirates? They don't do anything with Pirates, right? It's usually Haunted Mansion and
Space Mountain.
And Space Mountain, yeah. So, but they're doing Guardians of the Galaxy is going to get a Halloween makeover.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool too. So if you're there that time of year, I love going that time of year. It's just crazy.
Yeah, they give out a whole bunch of free candy.
Right. That's super cool.
On their Halloween haunt days.
Indeed. So anyway, that's all I got, man. Should we get to geek stuff and get the heck out of here?
Yeah, sorry, I was yawning. Yeah, absolutely, geek stuff.
I'm sneezing. You're yawning. Here we are. Bumper.
It's on.
I can't imagine any kind of future where I'm a hero.
Well, you're not.
In the future, none of you are heroes. You're legends.
All right. So, we have some stuff, dude.
Yes. Very cool stuff.
In real reviews, the only thing I've gotten here really is that there's going to be 2 more Star Trek Discovery seasons. They're already in the planning stages, which I think is kind of cool. I'm kind of stoked for this series, actually.
Yeah, I'm definitely not.
Oh, good God.
Sorry.
I'm going to edit all that out.
I'm definitely not a Trekker. So,
yeah. Trekkie? I think they call them Trekkies.
No, Trekkie is the derogatory term. I'm definitely not a Trekker. But I love Jason Isaacs, and I think he's going to be a great captain. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for the series. And the fact that they're planning on more than one already is good. And I think, I don't know, man. Recently, I've been thinking about rewatching something, like Battlestar Galactica. And every once in a while, I'll put on a Deep Space Nine or a Next Generation episode. And there's some of that stuff... it holds up, dude, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
I started rewatching Castle yesterday.
Did you?
I watched the whole first season of Castle, which was only 13 episodes. Whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm partway through season 2, just because I love Nathan Fillion.
No, Fillion's great. Yeah. We've been watching since we're just talking about random TV we're watching, we started watching Doctor Who with the girls.
Right, yeah. I watched an episode with you guys.
And so the last episode we watched, we're almost done with Eccleston.
Okay.
And some of them are absolutely dark and terrifying. But what I like about it is the girls seem into it. And I can't remember why I brought that up, but I really like the fact that even though the special effects are kind of lame, it holds up, and the story is amazing, and it's a lot of fun to see the kids react to certain things and that kind of thing. So, and watching it the second time through, like all the Bad Wolf stuff is starting to kind of come through, and it's really cool to watch.
Watching it the second time through, you notice all the bad stuff the entire season.
Yeah, exactly.
All the Bad Wolf stuff. I'm really kind of curious to how they're going to handle the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, there's a couple episodes, but I don't even know if we're going to be able to do it.
That or The Silence or...
Well, we haven't gotten any of that stuff, but...
Well, because you're still a couple seasons away.
But the one that was really terrifying was the one with the gas mask.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, the kid... We watched it, and the kids are like...
The World War II episode where you meet Harkness.
And that was a... Yeah, but that's why we watched it.
It was a two-parter.
We watched it because Harkness was in it, and we wanted the kids to introduce him to that, and that's why I brought it up. But
Are You My Mommy?
That was effed up.
Oh,
and,
it
like,
is.
if I'm halfway scared, my 8 and 6-year-old are like, nope. And like they had some bad dreams for a couple nights. But anyway, but we had to get to Harkness though, because I actually would like to go and watch, Torchwood.
Well, Torchwood's a lot darker. So
well, I watched a little bit of it. The wife watched them all.
Yeah, it's not for the girls.
No, definitely not. Anyway, man. All right, so let's get to some Berlanti stuff.
Are You My Mommy?
No, don't you. Don't you dare. So, Universal Usual stuff, Berlanti. So, the CW is going to join Hulu's live TV streaming service, which is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, well, CW already has their own streaming service called CW Seed.
Right.
But they only show the most recent season. So
right.
This is good because Hulu...
You can go back.
They're going to be watching, having the previous seasons.
No, I don't mind Hulu. I think that they need to dial back the commercials a little bit.
There are quite a few commercials.
It's kind of brutal. But before they got rid of Trevor Noah, that's where we used to watch Trevor Noah. Yep. But there's just so many commercials. But I'm glad eventually we need to catch up on Supergirl. That's the only one we need to catch up on.
Yeah, you do.
So, well, you're all mad at me, but there's like 10 things that you need to watch.
Okay, actually, funny thing, I was watching...
How's it going with Defenders? Yeah.
I'm partway through Luke Cage. Funny thing is, like I said, I was watching Castle last night.
We're like episode 5 of Defenders right now. It's good.
And there was an episode of Castle from season 1.
Right.
That had both Tyler Hoechner, who plays Superman in Supergirl.
Oh, really?
And David Ramsey, who plays Diggs in
No
Arrow.
Way. Oh, that's
had
cool,
them
dude.
both in it. It was
Diggle?
Yeah, it was definitely. I was like, wait, oh, that's Stiggle.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then like 10 minutes later, it was like, Superman.
Yeah, that happens. All right, man. So let's talk about some DCU news. There's some really
Lots of
weird
drama.
stuff with so much drama.
Okay, there's lots of drama.
Can I, before we get into this, this is like my beef right now with the DCU. The most drama we have with the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now is like, I can't even think of a major thing. Like maybe, I mean, any drama, major drama we've talked about in the last couple of years.
Just when they've had to replace directors.
Sure.
Like when Patty Jenkins didn't come on to Thor 2, and
here we are.
Okay, but I want to start at the end.
We're gonna start about the Joker thing right now.
Yeah, I want to start at the end of the Joker thing.
Okay.
First thing I want to bring up is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
The Martin Scorsese, and like we didn't see.
I've got a link in that. Yeah.
Yeah. The Martin Scorsese. We talked about this last week.
We did.
All the Joker stuff, so we can skip a whole bunch of it. But Martin Scorsese is going to be producing a Joker movie, and it's going to be kind of an origin movie, we think, but we're not sure. But they want Leonardo DiCaprio to play the Joker,
right?
Which I'm totally cool with because, first of all, he has a great relationship with Scorsese.
Plus, he's a great actor.
Yes, but the thing is, if you read this article, you find out that in there's been a Batman line in the comics that Jeff Johns wrote.
Okay.
And it actually says there isn't just one Joker.
Interesting.
Joker is a persona that has been taken over by 3 different people.
Okay. All right.
And that might be where they're trying to go with this.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's been like a mantle that's been passed on kind of like what Batman and Captain America.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense,
right?
Yeah.
Because Bruce Wayne isn't the only Batman, and Steve Rogers isn't the only Captain America. It's been a mantle that's been passed on. I mean, if you can have that for heroes, why can't you have it for villains too?
Right.
Okay, so if that's the way they're
Thor
going,
and Iron Man and
exactly. So if that's the way they're going, I'm totally on board with it.
Totally.
Especially because it's Jeff Johns doing the whole thing. I mean, he wrote the story,
right?
And now he's the story person at DC. So I'm definitely I'm okay with that. And the reason why they have a little bit more drama like this with Warner Brothers as opposed to Marvel is a finely tuned machine.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And same thing because it's Disney and Star Wars too. You don't have, I mean, everybody that's, I mean, James Gunn is great. The Lord Miller are great. You know, everybody they have that they bring in because, you know, they brought in Kenneth Branagh for one. They brought in Ang Lee for one. You know, they, Jon Favreau did one, and then they brought in Shane Black and all the, I mean, I don't want to say that the parts are interchangeable, but they have such a deep roster of people that they can bring in whoever they want. And, what's his name?
Leto?
No. The guy behind all of Marvel. Kevin Feige. Feige had such a tight rein on the story.
Right.
But what Warner Brothers does is they bring in the auteurs of the moment, right? They brought in Nolan to do The Dark Knight. They had Richard Donner do Superman. They had Tim Burton do Batman. They had, you know, they brought in the big directors of the time and do their own visions.
Yeah, yeah.
And so as long as they can do their own DCEU, and the thing with DCEU,
but the issue is that they're not keeping it coherent enough for
the thing is
for the people that are used to what Marvel's putting out.
But the thing is Marvel has Marvel has different universes.
Yeah.
But I mean they have the multiverse. But DC not only F's with the universes, they F with the timeline.
That's true.
Especially with Flashpoint and the fact that they're actually saying that the Flash DCEU story is going to be Flashpoint.
Right.
So they can have all these different versions because that's the way
good. Yeah.
DC does that differently than Marvel does.
Yeah, I'm with you, man, and I get it would be really cool to see them expand that, and I think if that's where they're going with it, that would be kind of neat. They're like, this is one of many Jokers, and then they can kind of, because obviously Leto's supposed to appear in Sirens and some other stuff,
right? And well, the cool thing is like the other thing that Marvel does is Marvel does cartoons, right? Like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that, but they're not hugely famous, right?
Right.
DC has the DC animated originals that are incredibly popular.
Yeah.
And they have,
you got the Titans, you have all the Batman stuff, and all that.
And that's their own timeline.
Right.
But then you have the animated series universe, which is a different timeline.
Right.
And they're all good.
Yeah, absolutely. So this story is actually hilariously titled "Leto's Not Super Stoked with the Multiple Jokers Thing," and so it says insiders say Jared Leto, the actor who portrayed the Clown Prince of Crime in last summer's Suicide Squad, is slated to reprise the character not just for a sequel but for another spin-off movie with Harley Quinn. Was caught off guard by the plans. Leto is said to have made his displeasure with the notion of multiple Jokers known in his CAA agents and rival agency WME has been using the concern to court him. So, like, are they kind of just like, hey, we're going to do this regardless of whatever you think?
Yeah, well, the whole agency thing is totally separate because
right.
Warner Brothers and DC are going to do whatever they do regardless of who's representing Leto.
Right.
But honestly, he really has no say in it.
He doesn't. Here we are. What is this DC versus standalone thing?
I kind of already just explained it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Just because I was bringing in multiple articles. So basically, there's a pretty good article here that explains what DC is doing with the DCEU as opposed to standalone.
That's
stuff.
what I thought. Okay.
And it's basically saying that they can do that, and they have a history of doing that.
Right. So also DCEU. Justice League. Joss Whedon is supposed to be getting a writing credit for Justice League, which makes sense.
Yeah, well, you have what are called script doctors, right? And Carrie Fisher was
one. Yeah,
she fixed a whole bunch of scripts, and you don't get credit. You just get paid a ton of money to fix the problem,
right?
But you don't. You
don't get a writing credit,
right? And the writing credit, it all boils down to the Writers Guild of America.
Yeah,
right. They're the ones who decide who gets the writing credits. So, but this is a thing where evidently the reshoots are so massive that he changed the story enough where he's getting a writing credit.
That's kind of crazy.
It is. So, but that means he's getting a screenplay credit, not a story credit.
Interesting.
And that's the difference. Zack Snyder will keep the story credit and be on the screenplay credit. Whereas
I see. And Whedon's going to get the
part of the screen. So it'll say, where
it'll say written by
the
two of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Based on story of da-da-da-da.
Right.
And so you're going to get that. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm really intrigued to see how this movie comes out.
Yeah, and like there's been a famous thing that happened with this with the Bourne movies.
Oh yeah.
Was it Bourne?
Ultimatum or something?
No, talk for a second.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep going. So Justice League. Well, I'm gonna skip that one because you have this one about Justice League Dark. Actually, the next three are yours.
Yeah, just take it.
Oh, no, actually, Suicide Squad 2 is mine. So I'm going to jump to Suicide Squad 2. Production is going to be delayed on Suicide Squad 2 because of Will Smith, it looks like. And it's not super shocking, to be honest. This kind of stuff happens all the time. But it's kind of a weird little... Let me see if I can find it. What does it say? In the midst of all that, let me see if I can find where I'm trying to find here. Since Will's looking something up.
Oh, okay. No, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, well, Tony Gilroy wrote the Bourne movies, right? Whatever. Yeah. But what happened was, remember they changed the director on Rogue One, right? They brought in Gareth Edwards.
Right.
Because originally wasn't it Josh Trank?
Yeah. The guy who did Godzilla?
Yeah.
And then he went away.
No, that was Gareth Edwards.
Oh.
Josh Trank was the guy who did the really bad Fantastic Four.
Right, yeah.
Okay. But what happened was he was whatever. The main writer was Chris Weitz.
Okay.
Who did one of the Twilight movies. He also did About a Boy and Golden Compass
I remember
and Cinderella
that guy, yeah.
and stuff like. But they took him out and they brought in Tony Gilroy as a script doctor and they paid him $5 million.
Jesus.
Okay, as a script doctor to come in, but his changes were so massive. That's why we get the big changes in Rogue One.
Right.
That he actually had to get a writing credit because he changed so much with it.
Okay.
And so that's what happens is like you can bring in a script doctor like Whedon, and then that's the whole thing with it.
Right.
Now Justice League Dark, we talked about last week how they've been having issues after issues after issues. Well, somebody submitted a script and it got approved by the corporate.
Really?
So now they have a script lockdown.
Oh, neat.
And they're looking for a director now.
Cool. I'm glad that's happening.
This is the third script that they've done for Justice League Dark, which is great because Justice League Dark is the very occultish one.
Yeah.
And it's the main person is Constantine.
Right. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And then Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam is officially entered pre-production.
Nice.
Which means that...
And this is the one with the Rock?
No, ironically not.
Oh, that's too
bad.
bad.
The Rock is doing Black Adam.
That's right, Black Adam. Yeah.
And Black Adam is is involved in the Shazam world.
Right.
But it's not... He might have a bit part, but it's not about him.
Right.
It's
this is starring DC Comics version of Captain Marvel.
Yeah. That's what Shazam is.
Right. Interesting.
But basically, since they've entered pre-production now, which means they've got a script lockdown, they've got directors, all that stuff. They're just starting to get everything put together before they go into production.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm just reading some of the sound bites here. It says, oh yeah, that's okay. So yeah, he is in it. I saw The Rock's name. He's playing Black Adam. Okay. That'll be cool, dude. And then, as I was saying a minute ago, Suicide Squad is going to be delayed by Will Smith because he's doing things.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Makes sense, right? I think it was supposed to start production sooner.
Yeah, well, they were trying to push it.
Yeah.
Hurrying it up, but...
Well, because it's Academy Award winning.
You're going to drop that.
I'm not going to let that go.
But no, it's because with the Joker stuff announced, they wanted to get this out of the slate.
Right.
And get it done, so...
all right, man. Disney stuff, and then we're getting out of here soon.
Cool. Yeah, so... they're always doing the Magnificent, or they're doing the live action. And their version of Winnie the Pooh is going to be Christopher Robin.
I love it.
And it takes place when Christopher Robin. It's going to be kind of like Hook.
Yeah, when he's a little
Christopher
older,
Robin's
kind of looking back.
And exactly. Well, they've Cass Piglet, and I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, it's a minor actor, but they've got the cast now, so they can start going into pre-production. And then Maleficent 2 is officially into production. So
yeah, I'm really curious to see how they're gonna do the Christopher Robin one. My kids, we all love Winnie the Pooh. It's one of those things. So when we go to the parks, I mean, the kids ride that ride, 10 times probably while we're there for 3 days. You know what I mean? And we've watched the movie since they were kids. It's just something I'm hoping they do right, and it's really, really well done. And the kids, hopefully it's gonna be rated G or PG. Not like PG-13 where I kind of
yeah. I'm guessing it's
I'm hoping
be
it's not too dark.
No, I don't see it being dark.
Yeah. So cool.
All right. So now we're into Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Inhumans.
Yeah. Well, the Inhumans, which premiered in IMAX a couple days ago.
It went over well, huh?
Yeah. Well, last week they had the premiere in Hollywood, and all the fans and all the critics coming out were saying how pleasantly surprised they were.
Nice.
A lot of people went in with lesser expectations, and they came out saying, "I'm on board."
Well, I'm excited about that.
Exactly.
So It'll be good.
I'm excited
So we have the Inhumans, we have the Gifted, we've got some other shows like that coming in. Runaways,
Cloak and Dagger.
And none of those have started yet.
No,
they're getting that. I think that's all fall, isn't it?
Yeah, Inhumans is going to be coming up first, I think. Runaways is going to be coming out, and that's Marvel. Gifted is...
I'm more interested in Gifted
Fox.
and Inhumans, yeah.
Gifted is Fox. The other two are Marvel.
Right.
And then Cloak and Dagger is Marvel.
I'm stoked about Cloak and Dagger.
And that's going to be on Freeform, which is formerly ABC Family.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. So I haven't watched Defenders yet.
We are a little over halfway through. It's great.
Okay. We're going to... A little bit of a spoiler here.
Okay.
Or if you follow the comics at all, you already know. But and I don't know if you've gotten to this part in Defenders yet, but evidently there's a scene where Misty Knight loses an arm.
Right. We haven't got there yet.
Okay. Well, in the comics, her arm is... She gets a bionic arm.
Nice.
And it's built by Tony Stark.
Oh, that's badass.
So,
that's so great.
We already know that Misty Knight's going to be in Luke Cage 2.
Right.
Is that going to bring in, here's an arm from Stark Industries,
right,
whatever.
Right.
Something minor like that, or they could bring in Robert Downey Jr. or something like that.
Cool.
But the thing is in the show, I guess, her hospital visit is paid for by Danny Rand as opposed to Tony Stark. So they might just flip that storyline over.
Yeah, because Rand seems to, I mean, he's really leaning into his
wealth.
At this point in Defenders, because after all the events of Iron Fist, did you finish Iron Fist?
No.
So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Once you get through that, then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right, so Thor Ragnarok, the UK release date got pushed up a little bit, but that happens
all the time,
periodically,
yeah.
Especially with UK versus US releases and Australian and all that kind of stuff. So, and Infinity War, Black Panther's Shuri is gonna be in Infinity War.
Yeah, this is one of the first things about our 24-hour pop culture news cycle is like, this doesn't sound like a spoiler, but it is.
But it is a spoiler.
Because obviously Shuri survives Black Panther.
Well, and we haven't seen Black Panther yet. And Black Panther's not until February. And this is kind of and I think the only reason this article kind of came out is because there's so many heroes supposed to be in Infinity War. They're like, oh, we heard this one.
Yeah.
Without taking into consideration that, by saying that, it actually kind of spoils Black Panther because that means that she can't die.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's kind
Unless
of
it's in flashback, but then that's whatever.
It is what it is. And The Punisher added somebody to their cast, which I'm excited about. This comes out soon, right?
It does, in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm so stoked for this, dude. Mute this
I think
tab.
it's September.
Yeah, it's...
no, it's November.
No,
so
it's
a
November.
couple more
So
months.
we have... this is great. Upcoming Marvel, blah, blah, blah. Farrah... Okay, so... Academy Award nominated actress, I don't know how to say it, Shohreh Aghdashloo?
Yeah. No,
she's from House of Sound.
House of Sound. Shohreh Aghdashloo. Let me see it. Yeah, it's Shohreh Aghdashloo.
Aghdashloo, okay.
And she, but she was also in...
You look it up. She's going to play Farrah Madani, and a successful Iran-born psychiatrist who spent most of her life living in the United States. She's the mother of Dinah Madani, Amber Rose Reva, a skilled Homeland Security agent tasked with pursuing ultra-violent vigilante Frank Castle, obviously played by John Barenthal, a.k.a. The Punisher. And she played Reva's mother in HBO miniseries House of Saddam, underneath The Punisher showrunner Steve Lightfoot. So same producer, same showrunner.
Well, she's fantastic. She's actually a Persian actress.
Yeah.
And she's phenomenal. She's got a very gravelly voice, but she was in X-Men Last Stand.
Oh, okay, yeah. She was also in she was in Westworld.
No,
wait. Actress joins the cast at... Oh, okay. What was she in?
She was in X-Men The Last Stand.
Okay, she played the mother of something that happened in the Middle East. I've seen a movie about it. And she was in it. But I can't remember now.
She was also in
anyway.
She does the voice of
her voice is great.
Admiral Shalaran Vos Tonbe in Mass Effect 3.
All right. Maybe I saw her on a panel or something one time. Anyway.
But when you hear her voice, you can't miss it.
No, totally. Well, awesome. So,
yeah, I love her. She's a great actress.
So I'm super stoked for Punisher, man. I love that storyline. You've seen that storyline in Daredevil, right? You saw the Daredevils? Okay. All right, man. So Smod news. Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and the shoot date is finally happening soon. And Smith has been super busy lately, man. Doing a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, well, he just finished filming Supergirl.
He did another Supergirl. And the Jay and Silent Bob reboot is, I think, going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it looks like... When is the date? Let me see if I can find the date. What did he say? I haven't heard him say it on his podcast, but I know it's happening here pretty quick.
Yeah, they're going to be getting involved in it pretty darn quick.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't see a date.
Let me see.
It says the date is revealed, and then... Oh, yeah. We're shooting this summer. Cool.
Cool. Oh, and also it looks like something got announced to comicbook.com today that Shia LaBeouf is not returning to Indiana Jones 5.
Well, good news all around.
And also the Christopher Robin movie we just talked about has added Brad Garrett as Eeyore.
Brad Garrett, huh?
Yeah, he plays the Ray Romano's brother and everybody else.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's awesome. I love Eeyore. Eeyore's my favorite, by the way.
And they're finally starting on another Chronicles of Narnia movie.
Nice.
The next one is The Silver Chair.
Oh, good. That was one of my favorite ones. One of my favorite books from that series.
Yeah. Cool.
So, we did a little rapid fire at the end, and here we are. So, stupid. Thanks for tuning in to The Usual Podcast. If you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I'm at DarthPops on Twitter. Will is at Imo Griggs. We're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play. So give us time, positive ratings, and all that. Like us and share us and tell your friends. If you want to support the show, we love everybody who does it. Our patrons are great. When we do trailers, you get trailer time. You also get blooper reels from every show, and you get the show at least a day early. If I'm on my editing game, and Patreon.com/usualpodcast in order to do that. We're gonna work on updating some of those rewards soon. But definitely thank you to everybody who does that. And of course, audibletrial.com/usualpodcast. You can get a free audiobook on us. That is a very nice way of supporting the show. We get $15. You get a free audiobook. And
Phasma, which just came out on Friday.
Yeah, Captain Phasma just came out, which we didn't talk about this week, but Captain Phasma just came out, and I listen to books that are like 40 plus hours long, so definitely get your money's worth there. So
because you're crazy.
I am crazy. So let's get out of here, buddy.
Yeah. So everybody, just make sure you have fun.
Have fun. We'll see you all next week, and we'll see you Wednesday for Houston Strong.
Houston
for sure.
Strong. Peace.
Thank you, chat room. Raz, thanks for participating, dude. Now I know your rotation. I know all your secrets.
Yours are sweating.
Yeah, it's hot as a mug in here. It's gross. Oh, I guess I should. All right, we're out of here. See you, Raz. Thanks for being here, man.